Hey everyone, I'm CJ, and today I'm going to get under the covers of The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. And it's 335 pages. It's got a couple pages of acknowledgments in the back, and has a poem in the beginning too. But it's not part of the story. It's just a poem that the author likes. Um, the plot of this story revolves around Oscar Wilde, and it also gives the backstory of his family, of his sister, his mom, his grandma, and his sister's boyfriend, Junior, and it also gives the history of the Dominican Republic between the 30s and the 60s, which, if you're not familiar with it, which I wasn't, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar with the Dominican Republic. Um, Between 1930 and 1961, it was ruled by a dictator named Trujillo, and like every dictator, he's a terrible man. And it gives a lot of history about like what happened and like why the family came to America and this and just background information like that. And the book is called The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, but it talks a lot about his family, which I think is it's important because I think um, it takes a lot to make a person. It takes your friends, it takes your family, and it takes where you came from to make who you are and what you become. And Junot Diaz did a great job of doing that in this book. And there's also footnotes in the book, and they're not like footnotes in like a regular book where it'll be like, and then he traveled to Springfield and blah 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 blah, and then the footnote will be like, Springfield is the state capital of Illinois. Like the footnotes are very close to like how the story is narrated, and it makes them interesting to read. But some of them are really long, and it's kind of like you'll read the narration, and then you'll read the footnote, and the footnote extends to the next page, where it's really long, and you kind of lose your spot in the narration, so then you have to go back and read it again. That was my only complaint with that, but the footnotes were interesting. It wasn't just facts you needed to know, and the narrator talks in a very casual, impersonal style. Yeah, like he talks to you like you know him and he knows you and you have inside information. But it's this book is very vulgar and very sexual. So if you're put off by stuff like that, I don't recommend it to you. Um, he also mixes English and Spanish. Um, a little bit of English or a little bit of Spanish. It's mostly the majority of the book is in English, but there's a lot of um, lines that are in Spanish, a lot of words that he doesn't translate from Spanish to English. And if you've taken 2 years of Spanish, you'll know what they're saying. You could even take a year of Spanish and know what they're saying. But if you have a hard time understanding what they're saying, you could Google Translator and you can translate it so you know what they're saying the whole time. Junot Diaz is a big science fiction fan, and he makes references to anything between Doctor Who to Dune to Star Wars, Star Trek. Um, he references comic books. He even makes obscure science fiction references that I don't understand, and I consider myself a big fan of science fiction. And he references them like other authors reference like Greek mythology, or some authors reference the Bible, and makes allusions between characters and and like science fiction figures. And if you're a big science fiction fan, this book is up your alley as well. I'm gonna read an example of something from the book that I really liked, and it kind of gives you the feel of how the story is and how the narration is. So here we go. Anywhere else, his 000 batting average with the ladies might have passed without comment, but this is a Dominican kid we're talking about in a Dominican family. Dude was supposed to have atomic level G was supposed to be pulling in the bitches with both hands. Everybody noticed his lack of game, and because they were Dominican, everybody talked about it. His Tio Rudolfo, only recently released from his last and final bid in the Justice and now living in their house on Main Street, was especially generous in his tutelage. Listen, Pelamo, you have to grab a muchacha y metaleso that will take care of everything. Start with the fea, coge that fea y metaleso. So, there's a little bit of Spanish in here. I don't know all of what I said. It might be very vulgar. I have a feeling it's very vulgar. And if it is, and you read it and you're offended, I'm sorry. But that's how the book is. It's a lot of stuff like that. It talks a lot about his Dominican culture and how people are expected to be a certain way because of your cultural beliefs, or what other stereotypes that are within your culture, about your culture. And he also talks about, there's a big issue of superstition in this novel. I don't want to get into it too much without giving too much away, but every culture has superstition, but this is a big one in their culture just because of the history of the Dominican Republic. Junot Diaz really brings that to the foreground in this book. You don't find out who the narrator is till about halfway through the book, and I don't want to tell you who it is because you kind of have to work for it, because you think it's one person and then it's not, and then you think it's someone else and then it's not. So at least I did anyways. So that's, you don't know who the narrator is right away, and it's really interesting to find out who it is and why he's the narrator, he or she is the narrator, and it's really interesting when you get to it. If I were to give this book some stars, I'm going to do the star system. I've been doing the star system, yeah. I give it 4.5 stars because I really enjoyed this book. I really want to read it again, but school's been kicking my ass lately, so I probably won't be able to read this again until summer vacation. 4.5 stars out of 5. The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. The next book I'm going to review is, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, so it's going to be a surprise. So stay tuned for that. If you liked the video, which you probably did, I know I did, but I did it, so it's my video. Anyways, if you liked the video, leave comments down there. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That's pretty cool. I won't bombard you with comments or anything like that. If you comment, I'm usually pretty quick to get back to people on comments, so if you want to leave a comment, I'll probably get back to you. And that's about it. So The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thanks for tuning in to Under the Covers. Later.